Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a hot second since I have uploaded a video. I think at first I was really was wanting to get more information out to you guys. Really had I think almost a fear of talking about certain things to please certain people, but I think at this point I think I'm going through I no longer give a fuck phase, and so many people ask me certain questions and information, and I'm always so weary to hold back information or things that I experience due to other things. And I think a lot of me being open with what I do, and because I'm so open, it opens a lot of avenues, but I think it took a lot of coming back to remember the reason, the purpose why I do what I do to begin with. And I think another thing that made me think about that even more was I had a human design reading, which I am not personally into human design, but I know quite a few people that are, and I got a human design reading from a friend of mine here, Michelle Cook, and she something she said that was in my gates or something. I'm not sure, for my human design people out there, I'm not 100% sure. It wasn't a super in-depth reading, but just kind of a outline of what was going on. And one thing that was in there was basically, I am basically set up to inform. I am somebody that informs others, and I really had to, that surprised me, and I really sat with that for a long time actually, and was like, okay, I feel that, I totally feel that. And so I had to kind of figure out again what that means for me, and again, going back to my purpose. So with that being said, okay, before I get into all my mushy craziness, I want to start answering some of these questions that I have gotten asked for years, and I have them written down. I have emails, and I kind of went through and what people have asked me over the years. And so in some of my newer videos coming, I'm going to go ahead and start answering some of these questions. And if you guys have questions or anything, you can leave them in the comments, and we can definitely discuss these things. And I'm actually kind of excited to share some of these things as a medium, and doing the work that I do at the extent that I do it. I find that I go through these phases where it can get upsetting or lonely when I can't share particularly my experiences that I have through life, which aren't exactly what we would say, the majority would say is normal, but what's normal, So I'm excited to actually talk about some of these things and answer some of these questions for you guys, so stay tuned. Okay, so first question, and I think I'm going to do just probably one question because I feel like I can rant for sure per video. So first question, what is the craziest thing you've ever experienced? Look, I didn't even you would think I would pre-think these answers, right? But I didn't, which maybe I probably should have. God. Now, I guess, I'm going to assume that this means, craziest experience as a medium, or just me, I guess, as myself, because I experience, weird shit all the fucking time. So, God, weirdest, craziest thing. I would have to say, okay. Okay, so I would say Okay, so a few months ago, this was actually a few months ago, which you would think after years of doing this, I'd probably have some crazier. But I think maybe not the craziest, but I think it was crazy in the sense that it really, 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 really caught me off guard. And I think that that's what made it so crazy. And I'm like, oh shit, you know? But so as most of you guys know, I am currently located in Angola, Indiana. And, Angola, when I moved here, it has a pretty bizarre energy alone. There's a lot of history here. There's a lot of past here. And for me, I don't see things physically like the normal person does. So I see a lot of other layers to, you know, the outside, like looking out the window right now. Obviously there's cars, a road, things like that, but there are also other things there for me that I see another layer there. So Angola has a very deep history, deep energy, and I was very aware of that when I moved here. Especially in the house I moved in has a lot of energy, and the area around my house, just Angola is really is full of so many different stories and things. But when I moved here, I tend to go through about every 6 months or so, I personally go through weird like, I don't know, upgrades, changes. I don't know. I think the more I evolve as a person, as a human being, my gifts and my abilities also do so. And I'm going to assume that this was one of those moments, and maybe I just wasn't realizing it 100%. So I go to the store here, Meijer, and I was doing some grocery shopping. Now, mind you, I do really try to avoid going to the store at certain times. There's a lot of people there. That's not really the best thing for me. I really do try to avoid to go at weird times. So like maybe a Tuesday at 10 o'clock at night or something, to avoid people as much as possible. Not because I don't like people, but because of just like the energy and everyone's energy, and, you know, everybody seems to always have, you know, someone that's passed. So I try to avoid things like that. But I went to the store, and I actually wasn't that busy when I went there, so I'm kind of surprised that this happened. But I'm in a aisle. It was like the aisle that's like half freezer and I think half regular stuff on the shelf. And a older man walked up to me, and we're talking, and, you know, it's very normal when I go into Meijer, like, there's the nicest people in there. Like, when I moved here, you go to a store, everybody says hi to each other, everybody's really nice. So it wasn't like not normal for someone to come up and like talk and have conversation. So this older gentleman walks up to me, and we start talking. I am like a hands person when I talk. So like, I'm always like talking like this, and, definitely use gestures and motion when I talk. And as I'm talking to this older gentleman, I have, you know, some people walk by, and they're just looking at me like I'm crazy, you know, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Like, you know, like, okay, like, I just kind of gave them a look back and was just like, hey, you know, and they went on. I'm still standing there, I'm talking to this gentleman, and I have another person go by, and they're also going by giving me a dirty look, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, okay, like, what's going on here? You know, like, did I do something? And I'm probably standing here talking to this man for, I don't know, a good 45 minutes to an hour. And finally, at this point, I think it was like the sixth person that walked by, and when I looked at her, because it was a woman, the last person, when I looked at her, because she was like going by slow, like really slow, and just like really stopped and looked at me, and I'm just like, what in the fuck? I really just want to be like, why is everybody doing this? I thought people were just being like jackasses or something, you know? And she looks at me, and like, as I look at her though, I don't know, it's something I feel like in her eyes that made my brain go like snap, and was like, oh shit, you know? And I look back at the gentleman, and he has like this mirage type outline around his body. And as I saw that, I'm like, oh shit. I really was like, oh shit. And realized this man was not living in our physical, I guess I should say. And he had passed the week before, and his wife was in the store, which was kind of odd though too, because she was apparently in the aisle next to us at the time that I figured out he was passed. So I would assume she was not in that aisle for 45 minutes to an hour, but I felt like maybe that was just like timing, you know? And he had passed the week before and wanted me to say something. Now, at this point, I will say I didn't say anything to the woman, because at that point I was like, 45 minutes to an hour, like, you definitely could have told me that about 45 minutes to an hour ago, and I may have done that, but at that point I was like, oh my god, everybody, like, so basically all those people were walking by me giving me these dirty excuse me, dirty looks, because I was basically standing there talking to air with my hands waving around and doing all of that. So I'm like, fuck, like, okay. But yeah, so I would say that probably would be the craziest thing that's happened to me, in the sense of maybe catching me off guard. But yeah, so I hope that answers that question. I feel like I could continue to talk about that, but it was such a weird experience for me, because like I said, I go through things like, I was like, oh, okay, is this something new for me? One, what do I do with that? But then at the same time, I'm like thinking like, shit, has that happened before and I just didn't know it? So I haven't had something like that happening, and it's happened a couple times, but I think that was the one, it was the first time really to where it was like that long, and I did not realize it, because usually I am able to tell the difference between like someone that's here and someone that's not, and I was not able to tell the difference that time. So that was something that I was like, what the heck, like, okay, is this new? But yeah, so I hope that answers that question. So with that being said, I'm going to answer probably one question every day, because I feel like too, now looking at some of these other questions too, I feel like I could probably rant longer than 10 minutes, and I don't want to make you guys sit here and watch something for 30 minutes long, just short little snippets. And if you guys like, I mean, I like to, and I want to start informing things like this, because if people come to me all the time though, and I feel like that was actually a really good question and a good answer for me to give, because I know that other people are experiencing these things. This is not just something that is brand new, or that I'm something special or somebody special. I have just practiced this muscle and have learned how to use this muscle the best that I can, and my guides have also helped me kind of do that as well. So everybody has this capability to do so. So I hope that answered the question. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and please, if you have a similar experience of anything, please feel free to share that. I'm always open to talk and listen and hear you guys' experiences as well. But make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys soon. Love and light always.